Library Out Loud updates you all about the fun and interesting things going on in the Spokane County Library District. Sponsored by STCU and the Spokane County Library District.
Hello and welcome to another social distancing edition of Library Out Loud. I'm Jane Baker with the Spokane County Library District. Joining me today, Operations Director Doug Stumbough, also with the district, obviously. Hi, Doug.
Hi, Jane.
Thanks for joining me today. Today, believe it or not, is April 30th, wherever April went to.
Right.
So we're in between this time where the governor has said he's going to extend our social distancing, our stay-at-home order, but we don't know when or for how long. So we're going to have a conversation today that's going to have no specific dates, but some of our plans, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about the reopening of the library, and despite the fact that many of our customers would disagree, we are listed as a non-essential business. So
yes,
we've been, but we're preparing all month behind the scenes to reopen, and how that's going to look and what that's all going to be like is why I have invited you to join me today.
Great. Yeah,
Great.
as you said, it is a bit of an uncertain timeline, but we are absolutely planning to reopen to the public. As many things, I think coming back from this it's going to be different. We're planning for that. I think the community expects that. But what we really want to do is make sure that we have, as best we can, our services and programs available to people. And we're working on how that's going to look when things change.
When the time comes. That's right. Yeah. Yesterday, we were discussing yesterday how we're a little unique from, we're very unique, but unique from restaurants who are doing takeout. We could do a similar model. However, our stuff comes back to us. So there's that whole other element involved. So let's say the governor says we can open. What would we be doing? Say we're going to open tomorrow. Mm-hmm. What would that look like for our customers?
Well, as you mentioned, we are looking at some elements of a curbside sort of service. The unique thing about us, as you mentioned, is that not only would we be there to give things out, but also receive materials back from customers as they're bringing the items back. And we're really planning this sort of in a phased reopening. Our expectation is that when the time comes that the stay home, stay healthy order is lifted and deemed that we can have our staff come back to the buildings, it's going to take us a little time with staff in the buildings to process all the materials that have come in, and then to prepare for not only what will happen when customers come back into the building, but also ramp up this service of curbside delivery of materials. So what we're kind of looking at doing, or how we're planning that, is that customers will place their items on hold, much like they would normally, whatever normal is these days, using our app, using the website, or even being able to call into their library and request the materials. And when those materials become available, come to the library, pull up in a designated area. There'll be a sign there to let them know a number to call. They just call the number, staff answers the phone, collects their holds, gets them checked out to them, puts them in a bag, gets it out to them in a manner that actually minimizes contact, but actually makes those resources available to them, and then they can be on their way and not have to necessarily get out of their car or actually have close social contact, which is a real concern right now, and be on their way.
so many people are going to be happy about that. We're hearing a lot of feedback on social media. People are saying, "Hey, I've read everything I had checked out. I'm ready to go check out some new things." So it's going to be great to be able to help them out. So during the closure, our book drops have been open. So
Yes.
people have been returning books. They don't have to because our due dates have been extended. But some
Right.
people, you know, you want to get out of the house, take a walk, take a drive, whatever, and have returned books. So we have a lot of books.
We do.
And material that have
Yep.
been returned. We've been kind of clearing out the book drops so
Yep.
so people can put more in there. But because staff hasn't been in the building, there's going to be a lot to do as far as checking all that back in,
Yeah.
and getting it ready to go back out again.
Yeah.
So
And that's,
we're thinking 7 to 10 days after.
yeah.
Uh,
Our planning right now is exactly as you say. The materials have been coming back, and we don't have staff in the buildings regularly because because of the current stay home, stay healthy. And so while we do have our facility staff making sure all the buildings are secure and safe and nothing's going wrong in the buildings while we're closed, and they're doing some clearing for us just to make sure things don't get jammed and out of the way. We have an awful lot of material that's been returned, which is fantastic.
yeah.
But we're just going to need some time to go through all of that and, of course, get it ready to go out and be able to be available for other people. An awful lot of it we're expecting is going to trigger a hold for someone else, the next person waiting on the list for it. So we'll get through those as quickly as we can, get the materials back and ready for checkout and back on the shelves. That's one of our biggest challenges, is that while we've been closed to the public for the past 5 or so weeks now, materials have been coming back, but of course nobody can check out materials. So we have things coming in, but nothing going off the shelves at the moment. And while we did have some really good numbers a couple of days, the days between when we announced we were going to close to the public and actually had to close to the public, we had a lot of people come in and just gather, check out lots of materials and get ready for their homestay, I guess. So that actually made a lot of room on our shelves, but we're going to have to find unique places for some of these and do some shifting of our shelves and make some room for those materials, which is great because when we are able to finally open up to the public and have them come back into the buildings, there should be lots of materials for them to choose from. But yeah, those materials are still coming in. We've got to handle those first when we first are able to have staff back into the buildings. And as I said, we're going to prep some of our buildings too for what the social restriction, social distancing guidelines are in place when we're allowed to come back and have public back in the buildings. We've got to make some changes. Libraries traditionally are institutions built for sharing and gathering, and it turns out that in a pandemic, those are things that while we still think we can do them and do them in good ways, we just need to make some modifications both to our physical places and to how we deliver the services. So we need a little time to get those things into place.
We've been working really hard, and you've been doing a great job, Doug. You know, there's a little bit of concern about materials coming back, and we've found a way that we're going to kind of put them on hold, make sure that they're not necessarily disinfected, but that they're safe again to go out. So there's going to be a hold period between when something comes in and before it goes back out again. So people need to keep that in mind. But also our physical buildings, when we do get to the stage, which isn't the very first stage, but when we do get to that point, people shouldn't be surprised. And by this time, they'll be used to it from seeing it in other places, that there'll be plexiglass between staff and the public, and requests to keep 6 feet apart, and our staff would be wearing masks and those things. So that's all the standard stuff that's going on right now.
All the personal protective equipment, you know, obviously the ones that are appropriate for use in our setting, we will have for staff. I'm glad you mentioned the plexiglass. Our facilities staff continue to work during this because the facilities are still there. But they've been able to get some of that stuff ordered for us, and we've seen the first couple of installations of those, much like people are seeing at their grocery stores and their hardware stores when they go in. And that's going to become part of what we'll have in the library, the 6-foot distancing. And I'm glad you mentioned the sort of the phased reopening. We'll have staff come into the buildings and first do their work that they need to do and get prepped. Then the plan is to institute that sort of curbside service, not necessarily having people come into libraries right away, but that pull up, get your materials, we'll bring them out to you, and you'll be able to have those. Would be that first phase of reopening to the public. From there, and depending on those uncertain timelines and restrictions that might be in place, we'll move to a next phase of really prioritizing, opening up the buildings and really prioritizing the browse and pick up and be able to move in and out of the library quickly. And as we've seen in other places and locations, there may be some restrictions as far as how many people we can have in the building at the same time, obviously the social distancing, but really trying to sort of ramp that up to make that service available so that they can come into the libraries and do a little bit of that browsing. The next step beyond that would be implementing some of the things, sort of the longer term type of stay activities in the libraries, the internet stations and some other activities. And then, hopefully at some point, whatever that new normal is, we will get back to that. But I think the new normal is going to have some elements to it that come out of our experiences with the stay home, stay healthy. Curbside service may be something that we decide to continue to offer as customers ask for it, and of course it may become a standard part of what we do there. Our online programming, things that we have shifted. We've been unable, obviously, to do our in-library story times, in-library programming, a big part of what we do. We've been learning to shift those into an online format. Our staff is working really hard for planning for the summer, one of our biggest programming seasons. And in addition to all of the things that we want to work on to make available online that lots of people are being able to access and utilize, we're also trying to look at how can we reach those who maybe aren't as connected, but still want to be involved, maybe not necessarily in the library, but in the library's programming. So those are some of the types of things we're working on. Even while we're closed to the public, staff can do these things remotely and do that type of planning for whatever normal will look like in 3-4 months or beyond.
Yeah, to be determined, right?
Yes.
So I recommend people keep an eye on our website and our social media. Our website is SCLD.org, or check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're in all the places. Keep an eye out, and when we know dates, we'll let you know the dates and where we move from there. Doug, thank you so much for all the work you've been doing. I know that you haven't been at home. In fact, I see you in the office right now. And you've been doing a lot of work, and our staff has too. In fact, we have great online programs coming up, and we're going to take a quick break and come back, and Gwendolyn Haley is going to tell us about some of those online programs. So thank you, Doug, and we'll be right back. Hurry out loud.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at SCLD.org.
I'm Jade Becker, and I'm a senior at Chewilla High School. I'm at STCU's Money Live event. In this scenario that we played today, I was a realtor. My spouse was a city worker. We had an 11-month-old child, and there was a lot of spending for that child, like diapers and formula and how to buy toys and clothing. I'm very glad that I had this experience. It was super helpful. You need this to get far and ahead in life. I'm Jade Becker, and STCU is here for good.
Hello and welcome back to Library Out Loud. I'm Jane Baker with the Spokane County Library District. Joining me for the second half of the program, one of my favorite librarians, Gwendolyn Haley. Welcome, Gwendolyn.
Hi,
How are
Jane.
you today?
I'm doing all right. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. It's great to see your face. We were just talking with Doug Stumbough about our phased reopening, and he gave us a perfect segue into our online programming. And I know you've been on a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about all the things we got going on, and we have some more now to share. And
Yes.
so, of course, we have you here to talk about it. One of the programs I wanted to talk about is Primetime.
Yes. I'm so
Yeah.
excited about Primetime Family Reading. For those of you who don't know, it's a family reading program where we read books together, and in this case, digitally, virtually. And I'm holding it up here for you to see one of the first ones we're going to read, True Story of the Three Little Pigs. And we read them together and we talk about them together. So it's a chance for your family to join our Zoom conversation. That's the platform we're using. And talk with other families about what you're reading. We're super excited to do this. We've not tried it before. We do it in person, but it's 6 sessions. And we'll read a couple picture books each night. And, you know, with school being out, I know that for my family, one of the things we're really missing is that opportunity to just connect and have conversations, because so much of our learning is kind of asynchronous, and we're not having the conversations about learning. And we know that for kids and for reading, those rich conversations around the ideas that we're reading about are what help build that comprehension skills that are so important as they get older. So Primetime is for families with kids ages 6 to 10.
Okay.
But the whole family is welcome to join in, and we want moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, aunts and uncles, older siblings, younger siblings, the whole family to gather around while we share stories and talk about them.
What a great idea. You know, I know everybody's at home right now. Sometimes houses have too many people in them, and maybe we're getting to too much together time. But what a great idea to actually sit down all together and all talk about the same thing for a little while. Yeah, that's great. The true story of the three pigs. I'm concerned about what that true story is, because I don't think I've read that one.
This is the wolf's perspective. And so the theme for the first night is fairness. And so we're going to talk about, you know, did the wolf get a fair shake? We're also going to read one of my favorites, potentially Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Viorst. And frankly, there are days lately, Jane, where every day I really resonate with Alexander. Okay.
So it sounds like there's a few themes. So you said fairness, and then different things.
Yeah, we talk about fairness. We talk about justice. We talk about courage. We talk about dreams. I have my bag of books over here. I'm just going to pull a few more things out to share. One of the books we read is called Amazing Grace, and it's a story of a girl who has a dream. She wants to play Peter Pan in the school play, and some of her friends have some negative feedback for why she shouldn't be the one to play Peter Pan, but her family rallies around her and encourages her to pursue her dream of being Peter Pan in the school play, and that's exciting. And what else? Oh, let's see. This is another classic that we love, is Where the Wild Things Are. But yeah, so every week we usually have 3 picture books to choose from. So what a session is, and we've not done it online before, but what we're thinking is the session will start, everyone will log in together. So either, you know, eat dinner and then join us, or, you know, join us with your dinner. It's, you know, you're in your own home, and so do what feels comfortable for you, and gather around your computer, and we'll read the stories, and then we'll lead a discussion. And it's a chance for you and your family to talk with each other about the ideas in the books, but also to, you know, talk with some other people and maybe that's something we're all kind of missing. It's a chance to talk with people not in my household.
Yes, yes. Okay. Again, you register, so go to scld.org and
That's right.
Navigate to, we do have a news item about prime time, or you go to our calendar and look at for Tuesday, May 5th, and then you send in a registration, and then you will get the login information emailed back to you. So now
That's
prime
great.
time is going to be two times a week, correct? Tuesday and
Right,
Thursday?
we're going to do it on Tuesday and Thursday, and we encourage families to participate in all of the sessions. Families who participate in at least 4 of the sessions, we have a gift book for your family, provided, you know, we're able to, and we plan to mail that directly to you because, well, that's going to be the easiest way. The books are actually available online, so you can listen to them on your own beforehand as well, or afterwards if you enjoy them. So we tried to make sure we had copies through either Overdrive or Hoopla, so your family can participate that way as well. We're really excited, but we are going to read the books together, and then, like I said, we'll talk about them. It's at 6:30, so we're trying to hit that sweet spot that's kind of between dinner and bedtime for everyone, but a nice way to wrap up your day. And I also just thinking about our kiddos and all of the learning that they're able to do right now. And it's tremendous what our teachers and our community have been able to do and how quickly they pivoted to keep learning happening. And this is one way the library can support that for kiddos and give your kiddo a boost for their reading, because one of the things that would normally be happening in a school day is the kids would be reading and talking about what they're reading. We're not able to do that as much at home. And so that's one piece that maybe we can kind of help support. And it's limited. So, 25 families is what we have capacity for. So register soon, I would say, so that to reserve your slot. And it's just, the month of May, it's 6 sessions twice a week. And just a great way to kind of break up the blurs day of it all.
The Blurs Day. I like that. That's great. So Prime Time is just one program, but we are also doing a lot of incentives, online incentives for reading with a program we call Beanstack and our reading challenges. Tell us more about the reading challenges. I know you have a lot planned.
Oh, yes, we do. So we really quickly put up a spring reading challenge for all ages. So whether you're a grown-up or a kid or a teen, you can log into Beanstack and you'll find that we're encouraging people to track what they're reading, share reviews. You can get recommendations for more reading, but also we have easy activities that you can do to learn at home based on some different themes like exploring and making and building and in just kind of some additional learning activities. Take a virtual field trip and check out some of the zoos and museums are online. And, so there's a lot of ideas for your family. And then it's kind of fun to just complete them and check the box and earn a badge. It's super easy to do on your smartphone. There's a Beanstack app for both your iPhone and also for the Android platforms. So you can download that for free and then log in to your Beanstack account and you can track your reading. And I should say to parents who are trying to track how much their kids are reading right now, because I know a lot of the schools are doing having the kids count the minutes that they read. There's actually a handy dandy timer built into the Beanstack app. So you can set your kid, have them start reading, start the timer, and when they're done, boom, and then you've just logged their minutes and you can keep track of it that way, which is super nice.
Nice. Yeah, super nice. So the spring reading challenge is going on right now.
Yes.
And then we have a summer reading challenge coming up. I believe that'll start June 1st.
Yes, so we'll start June 1st, and that'll go through the end of August, and it's another chance to track your reading, a whole different set of badges, because one of the things about living here in the Inland Northwest is the weather does get kind of beautiful in the summer, and so some things to do outside, and I'm recognizing that we're probably going to be still doing some kind of social distancing, so giving people activities that they can do on their own, as a family, and in socially distanced ways that don't require us gathering in large groups, but still have fun and explore some things. Yeah, so we're really excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, encourage everyone to track their reading. And I will say that I love the Beanstack app because it keeps sending me new recommendations for books for my kiddos and for me too. So if you sign up for that email, you'll get a curated based on your interests and types of, just right into your inbox. Here's 3 books this week that you might enjoy. Which is great as we're reading through what we have on hand. And as Doug talked about, when people are able to start getting more books from the library, as we hope and anticipate over the coming weeks and months, that you'll have some new ideas of things to put on hold with us.
Yes, yes. So that brings up a good point. The reading challenges are not just for kids. They're for adults as well.
That's right.
No,
they absolutely are.
That's right.
Yay.
So they're for adults. We have one for adults. We have teens, early learning ages, and then also elementary school. So for readers of all ages.
Yes, and really trying to kind of each of the activities are really trying to gear towards what's development appropriately for the kids, and then just what's interesting for adults, and so kind of tailoring to those different spectrums. So that's kind of fun too. A lot of great resources there.
That's great, Gwendolyn. Thank you. Thank you for getting all this together. Thank you for coming on the program and talking about it, and always giving me great recommendations for books I need to check out.
Yeah.
So
and don't forget to grab
great
movies.
That's right. I'm going to have to read that one. Okay. So for more information on any of these programs or even more that we have going on, go to SCLD.org. There you go. Vinny's got it up, and check out the whole page, click around, find out the billions, it seems like billions of resources, but we have a whole lot of them, a lot of things, a lot of information, whether you're looking for something for fun or if you're looking for serious resources or whatever, we have a little bit of everything there. So again, thank you, Gwendolyn. All right. And that's it for this edition of Library Out Loud. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Thanks for watching. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or check out any of our other programs on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Sponsored by the Spokane County Library District and STCU.